Every single day we are presented with countless opportunities to shape our future. Yet, it's the unseen missteps that often have the longest shadows. In the spirit of Stoic philosophy, we know that wisdom isn't just about pursuing the right actions, but also about steering clear of the wrong ones. Today, we're going to explore 10 critical mistakes that can keep you from living the enlightened, purposeful life that Stoicism teaches us to aspire toward. If you appreciate diving deep into these transformative insights, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps us continue to bring valuable lessons like these directly to you. Also, make sure to watch through to the end of this video because each point we discuss builds on the previous one, painting a full picture of how you can avoid these life-altering pitfalls. Let's get started and navigate these waters together, learning how to avoid common mistakes with the guidance of ancient wisdom. So often we walk through life with a silent companion named doubt. It whispers in our ears, questioning if we really deserve the dreams we yearn to reach, the happiness we seek, or even the respect we crave from others. It's a trap, one that not only diminishes our self-esteem, but directly conflicts with the empowering teachings of Stoicism. Philosophized implore us to recognize and assert our inherent value, urging us to embrace the notion that we are deserving of the good that comes our way, contrary to what our doubts might suggest. I remember sitting across from my mentor years ago in a coffee shop that buzzed with the quiet hum of mid-morning chatter. He noticed the way my eyes dodged his when I talked about my ambition. "Why do you sell yourself short?" he asked. It took me a moment to formulate an answer because, honestly, I hadn't realized I was doing it. But in that question lay a pivotal Stoic lesson. If you don't know your worth, you will always accept less than you deserve, and often less than you are capable of achieving. Think about it. How many times have you settled for something less than what you truly deserved? Maybe you thought it was all you could get, or perhaps you believed that aiming high was unrealistic. Here's where Stoicism steps in, clearing the fog made by our insecurities. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's a call to internalize your true worth and to act in accordance with it. This doesn't mean arrogance or entitlement, but recognizing that settling for less is an injustice to the capabilities you inherently possess. Reflect on this for a moment. Every time you set the bar low, you're not only robbing yourself of a potential victory, but also denying the world the chance to witness your full potential. It's about time we break this cycle. Embrace your worth, demand what you deserve, and watch as doors begin to open, not just because you're knocking louder, but because you've finally chosen to believe in the power of your own knock. Fear, that old familiar shadow lurking in every decision, every leap towards something new or unknown. It's a powerful force, one that too often dictates our actions and leads us away from the very experiences that could foster our growth. Stoicism, with its profound wisdom, offers a different path, one where fear is observed, understood, and ultimately mastered. I can still vividly recall standing at the edge of what would be my first major public speaking event. The audience was a blur, the lights a harsh glare on the podium where I was to stand. My heart raced, not with excitement, but with the terror of potential humiliation. What if I fail? What if my voice cracks? What if my mind goes blank? These fears were almost enough to make me turn and flee. But then a line from Seneca came to me, almost as if whispered in my ear. "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That was the moment of clarity. I realized that the fear was a natural reaction, but also a deceptive guide. It was trying to protect me from a perceived threat, not a real one. Embracing this Stoic insight, I stepped up, spoke out, and despite the butterflies, found my rhythm in my voice. The fear didn't vanish, but it lost its grip over my actions. I learned that day that facing fear, acknowledging it yet choosing to move forward in spite of it, transforms potential energy into kinetic, propelling us forward. This isn't just about speaking in public. It's about all those moments when fear whispers that you can't, or you shouldn't, or it's not worth the risk. Whether it's changing careers, ending a toxic relationship, or taking a chance on a new venture, fear often paints a picture of the worst-case scenario. Remember, he who fears death will never do anything worth living for, as Seneca so aptly put it. So how do we apply this Stoic practice to our everyday lives? It starts with recognizing that fear is but a perception, not a reality. It's about questioning the validity of what fear tells us. By confronting these fears with logic and reason, we begin to dismantle their power over us. We can then make decisions not out of fear, but out of courage and wisdom. There's a subtle thief among us, one that robs us of our contentment and destroys our sense of self-worth. The habit of constant comparison. It's like walking through life with a mirror held up to everyone else, only to use their reflections to judge our own image. But what we often forget is that these comparisons can never be fair or complete, as we are only seeing a fraction of someone else's story. I recall a time when I found myself scrolling endlessly through social media feeds, ying the achievements of my peers with a growing sense of inadequacy. Look how much more successful they are, I'd think. My own accomplishments shrinking in the shadow of others' curated headlines. It was a relentless cycle of measure and despair, until I turned to the teachings of Stoicism for solace. Marcus Aurelius, a beacon of wisdom, reminded me, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. This profound realization shifted my perspective. Why should the success of others be the yardstick by which I measure my own worth? Stoicism teaches us to focus inward, to cultivate our virtues, and to control our reactions to external circumstances. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you kinder, more disciplined, more forgiving? These are the comprehensive truths that truly matter, the ones that spur personal growth and general happiness. Let's break away from this cycle of comparison by fostering a mindset of self-improvement rather than competitive. Each of us is on a unique journey, equipped with different strengths and facing different challenges. When we shift our focus from competing with others to surpassing our own previous limitations, life becomes a more rewarding race against ourselves, not against others. In the relentless pursuit of our dreams and duties, it's shockingly easy to let the most critical aspect of our existence slip through the cracks: our health. We often act as if our bodies and minds are inexhaustible resources, pushing them to the brink without a second thought. But this oversight can have direct consequences, not just physically but on every facet of our lives. I once met a man, a high-functioning executive with ambitions that stretched to the sky. His schedule was packed from dawn till dusk, chasing deal after deal, success upon success. Yet one day, amidst a crucial meeting, his body halted to a stop, a severe heart attack. That was a harsh wake-up call. Lying in his hospital bed, he shared with me his regret. I spent so much time accumulating wealth that I forgot the health to enjoy it. His story isn't unique, but it's a potent reminder of a simple yet neglected truth. Without health, nothing else matters. Stoicism teaches us about moderation and self-control, and it's a philosophy that places great emphasis on physical endurance and mental resilience. It also stresses the importance of taking care of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about self-care as a duty, not only to ourselves, but to society. He believed that maintaining one's health is essential to performing one's duties. Neglecting your health in the quest for success is like building a house on a shaky foundation. It doesn't matter how beautifully it's designed or how robustly it's structured. It will eventually crumble. Therefore, it's vital to maintain the equilibrium between striving for your goals and keeping your health in check. Eat well, sleep enough, exercise regularly, and don't forget to mentally decompress. Remember, your body and mind are not separate from your aspirations. They are the very vehicles that will carry you there. Carrying the weight of past hurts is like ledging around a backpack filled with stones. It's heavy, it slows us down, and it serves no purpose on our journey forward. We've all been there, clutching onto grievances and wrongs that have been done to us, often feeling justified in our resentment. But what are we truly holding on to? A moment that's long past and a pain that only poisons our present. I once knew someone who seemed to carry the world on his shoulders. He was a close friend who had been wronged in a business deal many years ago. The betrayal consumed him. It tainted every new relationship and opportunity with suspicion and bitterness. One evening, as we talked under the starlit sky, I reminded him of a powerful Stoic principle shared by Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I watched the realization dawn on him that his holding on to this grudge didn't punish those who wronged him, but imprisoned him instead. Letting go of grudges doesn't mean forgetting the hurt or excusing those who caused it. Rather, it's about cleaning our hearts of the bitterness that dims our light and dampens our spirit. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a release from the past's hold, enabling you to move forward with a lighter, freer heart. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about managing them constructively, recognizing that our inner peace is far more valuable than clinging to past grievances. Think about the energy and peace we could reclaim if we chose to let go of old wounds and forgive, not for the sake of those who have wronged us, but for our well-being. It's not a simple task, nor is it one that we master overnight, but it's a vital step toward reclaiming our happiness and our lives. In the grand theater of life, we often play many roles: friend, colleague, leader, caregiver. Yet one crucial role we tend to overlook is being the architect of our own development. Investing in yourself is not a luxury. It is an essential practice for anyone who aspires to live not just an ordinary life, but an extraordinary one. Yet so many of us hesitate, bogged down by daily demands, forgetting that to pour into others effectively we must first fill ourselves. I remember meeting a woman at a conference, a seasoned professional, admired by her peers for her skills and dedication. Heavily, in a quieter moment, she confided in me her sense of stagnation, feeling as if the world was speeding by while she stood still. "When was the last time you learned something new just for yourself?" I asked her. Her pause spoke volumes. It had been years since she invested in learning new skills or broadening her knowledge. Inspired by Seneca's "Remember that as long as you live, keep learning how to live," she decided to make a change. She enrolled in a course that reignited her passion for her field and opened new doors for growth and opportunities. Investing in yourself is a broad and powerful endeavor. It goes beyond academic learning. It involves nourishing your mind, body, and spirit. It means stepping out of your comfort zone, challenging your preconceptions, and embracing lifelong learning. Whether it's picking up a new book, exploring a hobby, or taking a course, each act of investment translates into deeper self-respect, self-awareness, and enriched character. Take a moment to consider, when you neglect your personal growth, you are not just stalling your career or personal aspirations, you are denying yourself the fulfillment of your highest potential. Investing in yourself is also a profound declaration of your worth. It says to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you value your life's journey and your capacity to influence it. So let this be a call to action. Reflect on the areas of your life where you've perhaps allowed complacency to settle in. What could you learn? What skill could you master? How could you grow? The answers to these questions are the keys to not just advancing your career or personal life, but to cultivating a rich inner world. There is a simple truth about life that many learn too late. The people around you shape you more than you realize. The play you keep influences your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Stoicism teaches us that we must be vigilant about who we allow into our inner circle, for the energy of those we surround ourselves with will inevitably seep into our own lives. Yet, too often we cling to relationships that drain us, friendships that keep us stagnant, and social circles that push us away from the person we aspire to be. I remember a close friend from years ago, ambitious, talented, full of potential, but his downfall wasn't his lack of discipline or intelligence. It was the people he surrounded himself with. He spent his days with individuals who mocked ambition, who saw effort as unnecessary, and who lived as though every day was meant for indulgence and nothing else. Slowly, without realizing it, he began to mirror their mindset. His dreams took a back seat. His goals became distant fantasies, and before he knew it, years had passed and he was still in the same place, wondering why he hadn't moved forward. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. It is not an act of cruelty to distance yourself from those who pull you down. It is an act of self-preservation. If the people around you are not lifting you up, they are holding you back. And the hard truth is, you cannot grow in an environment that constantly keeps you small." Take a moment and ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they pushing you to be better, to be wiser, to be more disciplined? Or do they encourage distractions, negativity, and complacency? Your environment is one of the biggest predictors of your future. If you spend your time with people who complain, you will find yourself. If you surround yourself with people who settle for mediocrity, you will start to believe that mediocrity is all you should expect. This is not about cutting people off without compassion. It's about making a choice to protect your own growth. Some relationships naturally fade, while others need to be intentionally refined. The key is recognizing when a connection is doing more harm than good. Stoicism teaches us that external circumstances, including other people, are not fully within our control, but who we choose to engage with, that is entirely up to us. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, who encourage you to think deeply, and who hold you accountable to your highest standards. Seek out people who embody the virtues you want to cultivate: discipline, wisdom, resilience. And when you find these individuals, hold on to them, because they will become the foundation of the life you are trying to build. There is a silent thief that robs more people of their dreams than failure ever could: procrastination. It's deceptive because it never tells you no. Instead, it whispers, "Not today." It convinces you that tomorrow is a better time, that you'll start when things are perfect, that one more delay won't make a difference. And then one day you wake up and realize that years have passed, and those dreams you once felt burning inside you have turned to distant regrets. I once spoke to a man who had spent decades dreaming of writing a book. He would talk about it passionately, mapping out ideas, collecting notes, even telling friends that one day he would finally sit down and make it happen. But he was always waiting for the right moment, for more free time, for some external sign that it was time to begin. One evening over coffee, he sighed and said, "I wish I had started 10 years ago." And that's when it hit me. He had wasted more time thinking about his dream than it would have taken to actually make it a reality. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. Marcus Aurelius himself warned against delaying action, saying, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." The Stoicist understood that time is the one thing we can never get back, and yet it's the very thing so many of us waste the most. We act as if we are guaranteed a later date, as if life will wait for us to be ready, but life moves forward, with or without us. So ask yourself this: what have you been putting off? Is it that book you've been meaning to write? That business idea you've been too afraid to start? The healthy habits you keep telling yourself you'll adopt next week? Whatever it is, recognize that waiting is costing you far more than effort ever will. The perfect moment you're waiting for, it doesn't exist. There will always be excuses, distractions, reasons to delay. But the only way to make progress is to take action. Imperfect, messy, uncomfortable action. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll grow, learn, and improve. Every great achievement began as a first, unpolished attempt. Every master was once a beginner. Every success story started with someone who refused to wait any longer. Perfection is a marriage. It shimmers in the distance, promising greatness, yet every time you think you're close enough to reach out and grasp it, it moves further away. How many people have wasted years, even lifetimes, chasing something that doesn't exist? They tell themselves they'll start when everything is just right, when every detail is failure. And so, they wait, and life passes them by. I once knew a musician incredibly talented, someone who could move people with just a few notes on a guitar. He had dreams of recording his own album, sharing his music with the world, but every time he got close, he'd find something to fix. The lyrics weren't quite perfect, the sound wasn't exactly how he envisioned it, the timing wasn't exactly how he envisioned it, but he never released a single song. His obsession with perfection kept him locked in place, never allowing him to share his gift with the world. Stoicism warns against this trap. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. In other words, stop waiting for the perfect conditions and just start. The Stoics understood that progress matters far more than perfection because perfection is an illusion, unattainable standard that will only hold you back. Think about how much you've delayed because of this illusion. Have you ever stopped yourself from trying something new because you weren't sure you'd be good enough? Have you hesitated to put your work out there because you feared criticism? Have you kept refining, reworking, and second-guessing to the point that your ideas never see the light of day? If so, you are not alone. The fear of imperfection keeps countless people from ever stepping forward. But here's the truth. Nothing will ever be perfect. No speech will ever be written without flaws. No business will launch without obstacles. No book will ever be free of edits. And yet, the ones who succeed are the ones who begin anyway. They take imperfect action, they make mistakes, they refine as they go. The greatest achievers in history did not wait for perfection. They built, they adjusted, they improved over time. So, stop chasing something that doesn't exist. Instead, chase progress. Do the work, put it out into the world, and let yourself learn through experience. The first version of anything will never be your best. But if you don't start, you'll never get to the version that could be. Time is the one thing we can never get back. And yet, how often do we find ourselves lost in thoughts of the past, dwelling on regrets, or anxiously trying to predict a future that hasn't even arrived? We chase goals, plan endlessly, and worry about what's next, so much so that we forget to live in the only place that truly can exist, the present moment. I once met a man who had spent his entire life planning for the future. He worked tirelessly, saving money, delaying vacations, postponing passions, telling himself that one day he would finally live the life he wanted. But when that one day arrived, he realized something devastating. He had spent so much time preparing for life that he had forgotten to actually live it. The years had slipped through his fingers, and all that was left were memories of days spent waiting for something better. The Stoics understood this mistake completely. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations reminds us, do not dwell on the past, do not dream of the future, but concentrate the mind on the present moment. The past is unchangeable, the future uncertain. So why do we waste so much energy living anywhere but here? Life isn't something that will happen later. It's happening now. Think about it. How many moments have you rushed through just to get to the next thing? How often have you been so fused on your next goal, your next milestone, your next achievement that you failed to appreciate what's right in front of you? How many times have you been with loved ones, physically present but mentally elsewhere, caught up in worries or distractions? We convince ourselves that happiness is somewhere in the distance, just beyond the next success, the next relationship, the next accomplishment. But when we get there, the finish line moves. We tell ourselves that we'll slow down once things settle, that we will enjoy life once we've figured it all out. But life doesn't wait. The present moment is all we are ever truly given. So how do we stop, lost sight of it? By practicing awareness, by reminding ourselves daily that this moment is the only one that truly belongs to us, by training our minds, as the Stoics did, to let go of what we cannot control, the past and the future, and instead fully engage with what is happening now. Overthinking is a silent thief that steals your peace and creates chaos in your mind. It's easy to get caught in the storm of your thoughts, ruminating over the past, worrying about the future, or endlessly analyzing the present. If you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and are seeking a way to find inner peace, this video is for you. Today we're diving deep into the world of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to tame the chaos within and embrace a life of tranquility and focus. You might think that these lessons from over 2,000 years ago wouldn't apply today, but I'm here to show you how these timeless principles are more relevant than ever in our modern, hectic lives. Now, if you appreciate the insights and stories we're going to explore together, do me a simple, free favor. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us bring more of these life-changing ideas to you and others who might benefit from a little less chaos and a lot more peace. And remember, don't skip any part of the video. Each point we're going to discuss has the potential to significantly shift your perspective and perhaps your life. Let's unlock the secrets of the Stoics together, and I promise you'll walk away from this video not just informed, but transformed. When it feels like your mind is a time machine, zipping back to past regrets or zooming forward to future worries, it's time to hit the brakes and park yourself firmly in the present. This might sound a bit abstract, so let's break it down. Picture this. You're at a great concert, but instead of enjoying the music, your mind wanders to a mistake you made earlier in the week or what you need to do tomorrow. Sounds familiar, right? This is where Stoicism steps in, reminding us that the only true possession we have is now, the present moment. Stoic philosophy isn't about suppressing your past or ignoring your future. It's about embracing the present with full awareness. Think of the present as your point of power. It's the stage where you can act, decide, and live. Marcus Aurelius often emphasized the importance of concentrating on the present task, treating it as if it were your last. He wasn't being morbid. He was highlighting the intensity and focus that comes from living in the moment. So how do you practice this? Start by tuning into your immediate environment. Notice the colors around you. Listen to the sounds. Take in the smells. This sensory check-in is a practical way to anchor yourself. When your senses are engaged, there's less room for your mind to wander off. It's like telling your brain, hey, look here. This is where we're at. Let's make the most of it. This simple act can cut through the noise of overthinking and bring a surprising calmness, clearing the way for more joy and less worry. Another way to live in the now is through what the Stoics call voluntary discomfort. It's about small, intentional practices like taking a cold shower, skipping a meal. These actions aren't just for building resilience. They're about pulling you back into the present. They sharpen your ability to control your response to the here and now, rather than letting your mind drag you back and forth through time. Mindfulness, a concept that resonates with Stoic traditions, is also key. It's about observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Imagine sitting by a stream, watching leaves float by. Each leaf is a thought or a feeling. Your job isn't to grab at the leaves, but to watch them drift past. This detachment allows you to recognize that thoughts are just thoughts. They don't control you. You control how you engage with them. Living in the present also means letting go of the what-ifs and if-onlys that haunt your inner dialogue. This doesn't mean you don't plan for the future or learn from the past, but you do so in a way that serves you right now. It's about making the past and future relevant to the present, using them as tools, not chains. Ever noticed how a cluttered room can make you feel overwhelmed, like you can't think straight until you've tidied up? Well, our minds work in much the same way. When our mental space is cluttered with a jumble of thoughts, it can be tough to find peace or clarity. Just imagine your mind like a sky filled with clouds. Some days it's stormy and overcast. Other days it's clear and sunny. The key to finding that sunny clarity is understanding that thoughts, much like clouds, are transient. They come and go, but they don't have to define your sky. Stoicism teaches us not to get attached to our passing thoughts. It encourages us to view these thoughts as external events, much like the weather. You wouldn't try to stop a cloud from moving across the sky, right? Similarly, trying to block or control every thought isn't just exhausting, it's futile. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius often spoke about observing thoughts without getting swept away by them. They saw the value in stepping back and realizing this is just a thought, and thoughts aren't facts. But how do you actually do that? It starts with awareness. Begin by simply noticing your thoughts. Picture yourself sitting by a stream, and each thought is a leaf floating by. Some leaves might catch your attention more than others, but instead of grabbing them and examining every detail, you just let them float by. This exercise isn't about emptying your mind, but rather about not letting yourself get carried away by every leaf that drifts past. Reflection, a tool for mental clarity. Another effective way to manage your mental clutter is through reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on the thoughts that dominated your mind. Were they necessary? Were they helpful? Did they improve your day, or did they make it more stressful? This kind of reflection can help you identify patterns in your thinking and learn which thoughts to let pass by more easily next time. The power of premeditatio malorum. Stoicism also introduces the concept of premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. This technique involves visualizing the worst-case scenario in detail. It might sound counterintuitive, but by contemplating the worst, you often realize that even if it were to happen, you could handle it. This realization can take the power away from anxiety-inducing thoughts, allowing them to pass through your mind like harmless clouds, not ominous storm fronts. Freeing your mental space, integrating these Stoic practices into your daily life can transform the way you relate to your thoughts. You start to see that thoughts are not commands. They are merely suggestions, possibilities, and sometimes just noise. By not clinging to every thought, by not letting them dictate how you feel, you free up so much mental space. It's like cleaning up that cluttered room, and suddenly, you breathe easier, think clearer, and feel lighter. The illusion of control. Imagine you're driving on a highway and suddenly you find yourself in thick fog. Your first instinct might be to grip the steering wheel tighter and try to control the vehicle with even more precision. It's a natural response, but sometimes what we really need to do is slow down, turn on the fog lights, and trust that we'll make it through the haze safely. This is a lot like how we handle the uncertainties of life. We often cling to the illusion of control, thinking that if we just hold on tighter, we can manage everything perfectly. But just like driving in fog, sometimes the best approach is to ease up, not tighten our grip. The Stoic art of letting go. Stoicism, a philosophy that has guided many through the complexities of life, teaches us this art of letting go gracefully. The Stoics believed that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond. This idea is liberating because it shifts our focus from trying to control the uncontrollable to mastering what's within our reach, our actions, our responses, our attitude. Take, for example, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who famously said, "Some things are in our control and others are not." He encouraged his students to discern between these two realms and to invest their energy wisely. This distinction is crucial in everyday life. What's within your control? When you find yourself overthinking or stressing over something, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it isn't, then it's a signal that you might need to let go of the wheel a bit. Letting go doesn't mean giving up responsibility. It means understanding the limits of your control and focusing on what you can actually influence. It's about doing your best with what's in your hands and then stepping back when there's nothing more to be done. This can apply to anything from work projects and personal relationships to managing health or financial plans. Practical Stoic habits. One practical way to cultivate this mindset is through reflection and acceptance. At the end of each day, reflect on the moments when you felt the urge to control outcomes. What triggered these feelings? How did you respond? By regularly examining your reactions, you begin to see patterns and learn new ways to let go and trust the process more. Amor fati, loving your fate. Another Stoic practice that can help is the concept of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. This doesn't just mean accepting whatever happens. It's about embracing it as if you had chosen it yourself. It's a powerful way to let go of resistance and make peace with the way things are. Imagine facing a difficult situation and instead of resenting it, you say, "This is exactly what I need." This shift in perspective can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and personal development. Embracing the idea that control isn't everything might feel daunting at first. It can seem like you're leaving too much up to chance. However, the more you practice letting go, the more you realize that it leads to a deeper sense of peace and confidence. You start to trust that, like driving through fog with your fog lights on, you'll navigate through life's uncertainties more effectively. Not by grasping tighter, but by steering with a steadier, more trusting hand. Have you ever noticed how, when things start to spin out of control, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid? It's like your body's natural alarm system alerting you that something's off, and just by changing how you breathe, you can actually calm that chaos inside. This is more than just a cool trick. It's a fundamental practice that can bring you back from the edges of stress and overthinking to a state of calm and clarity. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to approach life's challenges with a composed and rational mind. One of the most immediate things we can control is our breath. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about mastering one's reactions to external events. He knew that the first step to gaining control over your reactions is to stabilize your physical state, starting with your breath. So, let's break down how this works. When you start to feel overwhelmed, pause. Close your eyes if you can and focus on taking a deep, slow breath. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Hold that breath for a count of 4, then exhale slowly through your mouth for another count of 4. This method is known as the 4-4-4 breathing technique, or box breathing. It's used by everyone, from athletes to Navy SEALs to combat stress in high-pressure situations. What it does is help regulate the nervous system, slow the heart rate, and give you a moment of pause, allowing your mind to regroup and refocus. The act of observing your breath also plays a crucial role in this practice. By paying attention to the rise and fall of your chest or the sensation of air passing through your nostrils, you anchor yourself in the present moment. This is key in Stoicism. The focus on being fully present and engaged in the now. It's about observing without judgment. When you notice thoughts creeping in, instead of engaging with them or trying to push them away, simply acknowledge their presence and gently bring your focus back to your breathing. This isn't about clearing your mind of thoughts. It's about not letting those thoughts steer your emotions and reactions. Integrating breathing exercises into your daily routine can dramatically change how you interact with the world around you. It's like installing a mental reset button. Whenever you find yourself starting to overthink, or when you're faced with a stressful situation, hitting that button can give you the clarity and calm needed to handle anything more effectively. Moreover, regular practice of mindful breathing can cultivate a habit of mindfulness. Over time, you'll find that this not only helps in moments of acute stress, but also contributes to a more sustained, overall sense of peace and stability. It trains your mind to live less in hypothetical worries and more in the real, tangible moments that make up your life. This Stoic practice of anchoring your mind through breath is empowering because it's always available to you, no matter where you are or what situation you're in. Your breath is a tool that you carry within yourself. By learning to focus on and control your breathing, you're not just learning to calm your mind, you're learning to align yourself with Stoic principles of self-mastery and resilience. Sometimes, when you look around your living space or scroll through your digital world, you might feel a bit overwhelmed by the sheer amount of stuff. From cluttered desktops to overflowing closets, it's easy to see how the physical can reflect and even affect the mental. In a world where more always seems better, it might seem counterintuitive to think that having less could actually make you happier and more at peace. But there's a powerful freedom in stripping back to the essentials, and this is where the Stoic practice of minimalism can really shine. Stoicism teaches us the value of focusing on what's truly important and letting go of the rest. This philosophy isn't just about enduring hardship or suppressing desires. It's about creating space for what genuinely enriches your life. Epictetus urged his followers to keep their lives simple and to avoid getting caught up in the pursuit of wealth or possessions. He believed that peace comes from within and that external circumstances have only as much power as we grant them. Decluttering your physical space, embracing a minimalist lifestyle, can start with your physical environment. Take a good look around your home. Each item you own requires a piece of your attention, whether for cleaning, maintenance, or just choosing what to wear or use. By reducing the number of possessions, you reduce these demands on your attention, which can lead to a quieter, more focused mind. This doesn't mean living with nothing. Rather, it means keeping things that serve a purpose or bring you joy and parting with the rest. Simplifying beyond the physical. But simplifying isn't just about decluttering your physical space. It's also about streamlining your commitments and your digital life. In our hyper-connected world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by endless notifications, social media feeds, and the pressure to stay constantly informed. By setting boundaries around your digital consumption, like specific times when you check emails or social media, you give yourself permission to disconnect and focus on the present. This kind of digital minimalism can help you regain control over where and how you spend your mental energy. The connection between minimalism and Stoicism. The Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control is deeply connected to minimalism. By simplifying your life, you're stripping away the non-essentials that you can't control and focusing more deeply on what you can, your actions, your work, your relationships. This shift in focus can dramatically decrease feelings of stress and overthinking because you're no longer spreading yourself too thin across too many concerns. Furthermore, minimalism fosters a sense of gratitude. When you live with less, you tend to appreciate more. This is a key Stoic practice, focusing on being thankful for what you have, rather than resenting what you don't. Each item, each activity, and each interaction has more value and meaning when it's chosen with intention rather than by default. Starting the journey toward a minimalist lifestyle can be as simple as choosing one area of your life to simplify. Maybe it's your wardrobe, committing to a capsule collection of garments that you love. Or perhaps it's your schedule, deciding to say no to commitments that don't align with your values or bring you satisfaction. Each small step not only adds to your immediate peace, but also builds your confidence in your ability to live according to Stoic principles. Isn't it fascinating how the only thing we can truly count on in life is change? Yet so often, it's the thing we resist the most. We build our routines, our habits, and our expectations around predictability, and when things inevitably shift, it can throw us off balance. But what if we could not only expect change, but welcome it with open arms? This is where the wisdom of Stoicism can make a profound impact on our lives. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has endured through the centuries, teaches us to embrace the impermanence of life. The Stoics believed that by accepting that everything is in flux, we can rise above the tumult of our ever-changing world and find true peace of mind. Seneca, one of the most celebrated Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about the inevitability of change and the importance of being as flexible in mind as nature is in its expressions. To start integrating this mindset, consider the nature around you. The way the seasons change seamlessly from spring blooms to summer heat, to the falling leaves of autumn, and finally, to the quiet cold of winter. Each season has its purpose and its beauty. Just as we accept and adapt to these seasonal shifts, we can learn to do the same with changes in our lives. Whether it's a sudden job change, a move to a new city, or shifts within personal relationships. Viewing these changes as natural and necessary can significantly reduce our anxiety and overthinking about the unknown. But how do we put this into practice? It starts with letting go of our attachment to outcomes. While it's natural to want certain results from our efforts, attaching our happiness to these outcomes can set us up for disappointment. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our actions and intentions, leaving the results to unfold as they will. This doesn't mean we don't strive or plan. Rather, it means we detach our well-being from the results of our action. Moreover, embracing change involves recognizing the opportunities that come with new circumstances. Every change brings with it the chance to learn something new, to grow, and to expand our horizons. When we open ourselves up to the possibilities that change can bring, we shift from feeling victimized by circumstances to becoming active participants in our own lives. This proactive stance is empowering. It transforms our experience from one of passivity to one of engagement and adventure. Another Stoic strategy to help cope with change is the practice of reflection and preparation. The Stoics recommended regularly contemplating potential changes and challenges that could arise. This practice, known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, helps prepare the mind to face possible future scenarios without fear. By mentally rehearsing how you might handle difficult situations, you build emotional resilience and flexibility, making you better equipped to deal with change when it occurs. In embracing change, it's also crucial to maintain a support network of friends and family who can provide different perspectives and emotional support during times of transition. Stoicism doesn't advocate going through life's ups and downs alone. Rather, it encourages building and relying on a community. This support not only helps buffer the stresses that come with change, but also enriches the journey, making the process of adapting not just bearable, but enjoyable.